I was watching a YouTube video where the camera quality was so high. It was a YouTuber talking about deepfakes, how it's a problem. And I was like, he is really like talking knowledge. And then at the end of the video, it just glitched out. And he's like, I was a deepfake this whole time. And I did not even know.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Legacy Podcast. I'm your host, Raisa Afrida, and this episode is presented by MCG Career College. Right now, the internet is entering a new era, an era where seeing isn't believing. Your face, your voice, even your identity can be faked in minutes. So the real question is, how do we protect trust? Today, I'm joined by Ahmad Baker, a cybersecurity builder and founder of TROOFAI, a startup focused on fighting deepfakes and strengthening digital trust. Ahmad's journey is also a leadership one. From international student advocacy and student government at SAIT to building solutions for real-world digital threats. He's also been recognized as Alberta's top 30 under 30 for his leadership, innovation, and impact. So Ahmad, welcome to our Legacy Podcast. How are you today?
Hi, Raisa. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, is this your first podcast?
It is. So getting the goosebumps already.
Don't worry at all. I'm sure you got it covered. Well, I'm very excited to talk about TROOFAI, deepfakes, and what it means to lead with purpose. So to start simple, who is Ahmad Baker today and what are you building right now?
You know, Raisa, 7 years ago, I don't think I would have had the answer to this, but luckily now with all the opportunities, I could finally answer it. I'm a cybersecurity founder, someone who wants to change the world, ensure that everyone has a purpose, and ensure that everyone has a place within like the environment and the culture. We are building something called TROOFAI. TROOFAI comes from two different words. It's truth and spoof combined together. The real reason behind this naming, it took about a week to get it. I always wanted to understand how we can find the truth in every spoof because deepfakes are all around spoofing. So we're building a system that will be able to figure out deepfakes before they even appear in the room. So let's take, for example, you're in a meeting and you were talking to a CEO and your colleagues. You need to know that everyone in that room is who they claim to be without even getting to the point of like being scared that someone is faking someone else.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Never thought about that. Interesting. Wow. Well, someone can just fake the CEO and try to get very sensitive information about
100%.
Different companies. So I got to be really careful if I get any email saying like, hey, I'm your CEO, let's jump into a Zoom call.
See, with TROOFAI, you don't even have to see those emails.
Okay.
They would already be filtered out.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Well, what was the moment you realized deepfakes weren't just internet drama, but a real threat we need to take seriously?
You know, I remember seeing this story about Arup, a company, and there was an employee in the financial team who went inside a meeting. There were, I think about, don't quote me on this, maybe 20 people in that meeting, and one of them was the chief financial officer. So they ended up doing about 15 transfers that is worth $25 million. And of course, you know, the news now is crazy. Social media is booming. So the story goes out quick and then that causes some reputation damage. So I understood that how could it be that there are 20 people in that meeting and there's only one person being targeted? So it showed that deepfakes isn't only about one person. It can be duplicated and deepfaked across all people. So that's when I knew that it wasn't something simple as in like a joke. You know, before we used to send links as in like, hey, click this link. But now it's becoming, I need to deepfake this person because I want $25 million spent in seconds.
Oh my God, that is scary. Well, can you explain TROOFAI in plain English? What does it do? Who is this for?
Of course. So TROOFAI is built on two things. First, we have the companion app and we have the hub cloud. The way that TROOFAI works is that we create something like a handshake. So when you meet someone, you always have that sense of trust when you shake their hands and look into their eyes and know who they are. We do that with hardware. So instead of analyzing who the person is based on like images online, we embed or we send a nonce to the private key and the public key so that they can have like a handshake made. And all we do is we take that public key, because private keys are really hard to take out because of privacy concerns. So in plain English now, when you're sitting in a meeting with your CEO or with any colleague, what we do is we work behind the scenes silently. When you join a meeting, your laptop is already registered with our system, and it would create that handshake with the keys in your PC, and then it would say, this is Raisa in that meeting. This is the CEO in this meeting. If a person wanted to deepfake someone else, they would be filtered out and they would not even join the meeting, because that device does not belong to Raisa.
Okay, that makes sense. Wow, that's a very simple fix of that problem, but I'm sure there's a lot that goes behind the scene. Deepfakes are evolving fast, and what's the biggest risk people underestimate? Like scams, reputation damage, elections, workplace fraud, or maybe something else?
You know, it's all of the above. It's actually depends on what sector or where do you work. For example, like companies, they cannot risk their entire history. Like imagine a company with 200 years of work and building that reputation taken all in 1 second because someone deepfaked, went out on social media and said some slang or bad words. That's how reputational damage can be broken. Now, when it comes to a normal person in their day-to-day life, before we used to hear about cyberbullying, and that would create emotional distress to people. But with deepfakes nowadays, it can ruin friendships, families, because, you know, our families don't really know about deepfakes that much. Not many people know about it. So it can cause a lot of emotional distress to both corporate and personal life.
Oh my God, yes, I can definitely relate to that, because as a woman, there are lots of times when people get targeted and, you know, like certain videos or photos are created to hurt someone's reputation or the place in like the social status, right? And it can be extremely scary to even think that someone would go through. I know I've seen some scary news out there where teenagers were suicidal because someone else made, you know, a deep fake photo or video of that person. So what you're doing is definitely saving lives. So thank you so much for that. So you went from idea to winning solution really quickly. What did you do during that sprint that helped you move faster than most people?
You know, the idea first came up when my friend, who's the chief information officer at SAIT, reached out to me, told me to participate in the hackathon.
And when you say SAIT, which school you're talking about?
That is the Southern Alberta Institute of Technology here in Calgary, Alberta.
Which is one of the best schools here in Calgary.
Exactly. And he reached out, told me that the idea could be winning and I have to participate in the hackathon. This was for the KPMG hackathon. The time frame that I had was 20 days to come up with an idea.
Wow.
What I did was I had to visit startups from an accelerator in America called Y Combinator, who has like a startup that battles deepfakes or combats deepfakes. And I wanted to just twist the idea a bit. All I needed was, how can we move from something that is in the market to something that can be unique just by changing one thing? And that was through the hardware verification. Now, the thing that made me win the hackathon, I feel, is I knew that I had a purpose. I knew that I wanted to get first place. I told my team that we should not focus about winning right now. We should focus about being shortlisted for top 3. That's the main goal.
Okay.
Once we were shortlisted for the top 3, I told them now it's either first place or nothing, because I needed it to know that, will the judges validate my idea? If that's the case, the world is going to validate the idea. And that's what happened. We went up. I knew that my purpose was there, spoke with confidence, answered all questions. I think I was scared that people were asking me a lot of questions. I thought that it was targeting me, like your company's not good. But turned out that more questions meant more people are interested in the idea.
That's true. Well, I'm so happy that you got to not only win the competition, but actually created this company,
100%.
right? So what's harder in deepfake problem? Is it building the tech, getting adoption, or getting people to change their behavior?
Well, it's always, like I said, like all of the above. But the hardest part is, like, first of all, adoption has like sales, IT integration, that takes a lot of months. But when it comes to behavior, people need to know that this is a serious problem. A lot of us, we see emails, we see people impersonating. We're like, this is funny. And it's not a big deal. I can tell if it's a deepfake or not because the mouth wouldn't be moving right. But nowadays, with artificial intelligence, I might be a deepfake at this point in this podcast, but
I hope not.
I hope not either. But the behavior side, people need to understand this is a serious problem and understand that we need to do every possible way to combat this.
You know what? I was also thinking that recently when we saw the U.S. election, there were videos that was deep faked, and some of the videos, like normally I'm very good with finding out which one is deepfake. I could not tell.
Exactly.
There were also some videos made by some Hollywood actors. And again, Tom Cruise, I could not tell that it was not Tom Cruise.
Exactly.
So I think BBC did there was a video where it was about deepfake, but the video itself was actually deepfake. And then the real person jumped in and said, wait, well, that's not real me. And I was like, wow, this is scary.
100%. I was watching a YouTube video where the camera quality was so high. It was a YouTuber talking about deepfakes, how it's a problem. And I was like, he is really like talking knowledge. And then at the end of the video, it just glitched out. And he's like, I was a deepfake this whole time. And I did not even know.
Yeah, it's also on the news for Alberta. I know that there's a lot of things going on where they found out that there are deepfake videos that's created from overseas talking about Alberta separation.
Exactly.
And I was like, wow. And there are 4 million people who are watching. So I wonder how many people actually know if this is real or not. So keep up doing your good work.
Thank you.
Now, I have to ask you some question. You are in your early 20s and you have done so much great things already.
Thank you.
For someone watching who feels powerless online, what are the 2 to 3 practical things people can do right now to protect themselves from manipulation?
Well, even Google announced recently that they're moving away from passwords to something that is passwordless. So we need to move away from just trusting the thing that we see. We can always start with a safe word, something that me and you, Raisa, could know. So I tell you that maybe you could tell me like an orange. So if I tell you, can you tell me the safe word? If you say orange, that's when I know that's Raisa. Obviously, now we do have social engineering in life where people might manipulate you to tell them that it's an orange. But having those barriers would slow down the process of you being impersonated. So having a safe word, or simply just hanging up. If you feel that there's a lot of urgency, something like, Raisa, I need your attention right now. I don't think anyone would be dying for this moment unless they have something that they want in their mind. So always think about, is this too good to be true? Or let me hang up, confirm with the actual source that I have in my phone or with someone else. That's when you can proceed.
Okay.
You don't need to be a cybersecurity expert. You just need to be 5 minutes slower than a scammer.
Okay, good to know. You know what? Sometimes I don't pick up my call right away because I'm like, okay, let's see how long this rings. So, Ahmed, you've led at a high level before, representing students, advocacy, governance, so much more. What leadership lessons translated directly into building a startup?
Well, it's 2 things that I feel like are at the core. It's, first of all, listening to people. at student advocacy, you always wanted to go around at SAIT, understand what students are struggling with, and then also having the patience, because students would always want to change as much as I wanted to change. But, in life we have policies, procedures to follow, bureaucracy, times, and for you to reach that certain level of success, you need to build a lot of pillars first. So I felt that when we were advocating to the government, trying to get a meeting with the prime minister, it took months in work. And when we felt that we made the right connections, we had the campaign out to all Canada. That's when the prime minister knew about us and invited us to his office. That is the same thing for the company. You can't just create an idea and then it would take forever. So for leadership-wise, if you ever have an idea or something that you want to work towards, even achieving an A-star, always ensure that there's patience and there's purpose, because if you're working towards something with patience, you will build the necessary foundations that would never be broken because you checked every level before reaching that level of success.
That's amazing. Wow, you're so eloquent. Well, you were named top 30 under 30. What did that recognition mean to you personally, and what pressure came with it?
I might have to get deep a bit. The recognition means a lot, because it does not just talk about me or give me a title that I'm top 30 under 30, but it reflects the absolute hard work that my parents have put into creating what I am today. I feel like this recognition goes to my father, who I lost when I was 14 years old. And ever since I saw his leadership, the way he handled stuff, he never wanted the light. He always wanted to be behind the scenes, making sure that we're all smiling and happy. And my purpose was, I always wanted to reach high-level stages in life so that I can always echo his name and ensure that everyone knows that this is not my hard work, but it's his hard work and my family's hard work, my mother, my brothers. So when I first heard about the recognition, I was like, this is impossible. There's no way. Top 30 under 30. So I immediately called my mother, and my mother was like, first time I got the highest in Jordan for business studies at Cambridge. And my mother was like, you're lying. And then top 30, she's like, are you still lying? So
that's hilarious.
It's unbelievable. And I appreciate everyone at ACGC, the Alberta Alberta Council for Global Cooperation. The whole team supported me, understood my portfolio, my purpose, and what change I want to do in this life. And I feel like it's going to live with me for a long time with my connections and help me build what I want to do in the future.
That's amazing. That's a very inspiring story. I must say that in Canada right now, there is a lot of, I would say, not such a positive scenario for international students. Correct. And working in the education industry, I see how there is all these beaming lights, these brilliant people around the world coming to Canada, calling it home. You are nothing different than that. Can you tell us what brought you to Canada and how your journey has been so far?
I was born in Qatar, and I was living in Jordan for 5 years before I came to Canada. I always heard from my principal, my teachers, that you have a bright future. But I always asked, what is it? Because I don't feel it. And I just wanted something that is full of opportunities, full of positivity. Even the environment pushes you to do greatness. So my brother came here before me, and I immediately knew that Canada, with all its people, everyone is so nice, the nature, the mountains, I knew that this was my place. But of course, we can't trust everything, so we had to verify. So that's when I had to make my trip to Canada, but with a purpose, that I'm coming here not to just tell people that I'm in Canada, but to tell the world that I am building something in Canada to the world. So my journey is amazing. It went from, like you said, international student to meeting the Prime Minister, where people told me that I was born in Canada and I haven't met the MP yet. So I knew that was a major accomplishment. And then the awards, I just feel like I'm loved by everyone.
Oh,
so especially, working at MCG Career College now with all my colleagues now, we're making a difference. We're making communities great. So it does align with my purpose. And I want to continue that in Canada and call it home.
Oh, thank you so much.
Of course.
That was beautiful. Well, we're towards the end of our podcast. We have 2 more questions left. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the second last question?
Hit me.
Great. Well, looking ahead, what does success look like for TROOFAI? What milestone would make you say, we're changing the game?
Our slogan is trust made provable. Now, this is just words. I would love to see TROOFAI in every, maybe soon household. But for now, every corporate business, ensure that all sectors, whether it's energy, healthcare, accounting, all of them are being protected, and, just telling people with word of mouth that, hey, TROOFAI is the way to do it. It's making trust provable. The milestone would be that it would be the new way of verifying truth, ensuring that we're not taking over people's lives, but ensuring that we're part of people's lives, making them happy, making them feel safe. That's when I would feel that TROOFAI is actually making something different. We're not looking at revenue. We're not looking at being on global stages. Of course, that's an addition, but humans come first, people come first. That's what TROOFAI is built on.
Okay, good to know. Now is the time for my most favorite question, and it's about the name of the podcast. So our name of the podcast is Legacy Podcast. We bring in people who has built a legacy and wants to leave it behind for the next generation. If you could leave people with one message about trust, leadership, and the future of digital security, what would that be?
Well, it would definitely be that you should always verify. I keep saying it. We should always verify before we trust anyone or anything we see on social media. Before maybe 100 years ago, it was easy because there wasn't anything like social media and phones. But now we have to take precautionary measures, ensure that we're doing everything that we can to live a safe life. When it comes to leadership, the thing that moves you is your purpose. That's your only energy. And ensure that you're surrounded with people who are fueling your vision. You don't want people who are telling you that it could be impossible. There's a lot of times where I had people telling me that, you can't achieve this in that such short time. And I just proved them wrong because I told them I don't look at people's experiences. I just think about my purpose. So always refer back to your purpose. And in terms of digital security, we are building that safe world in that digital security. And I want everyone to be a part of it. Everyone is part of TROOFAI. And the main message of TROOFAI, of course, is that we want to ensure that everyone has a space, everyone has a way to thrive and grow and push the economy better. So if we're able to build that future of digital security together, we're all going to benefit together.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Ahmed. It was really nice chatting with you and getting to know you. You are definitely an aspiring leader, and I cannot wait to see what the future entails.
Thank you so much,
Best
Raisa.
of luck.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for watching us today. If you want to get a hold of Ahmad Baker, you can always find him on LinkedIn, but definitely look up TROOFAI. So that is TROOFAI. If you are thinking that your company or yourself, just personally, you want to be secured from all these deepfakes, then definitely look into that. And also, if you want to meet with him or just ask a question about how he started his journey, feel free to reach out to him. I will be back with another inspiring person in our next episode. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.
MCG, making communities great.